Hello, my name is PC-Spacegoon, and I am going to just address some stuff quickly here that has to do with moderation on my channel, how I look at it, and how everyone else should be looking at it moving forward, I guess. If you already haven't, then there was a couple things that came up recently, so I decided to throw this out there just so people are all on the same page. Hey! So there's a thing called Overtons Window. It is essentially the window of discourse. It's usually used in reference to political parties because obviously, like, if a politician were to say something that was outside of Overton's window, then he might be considered to be too radical to elect or whatever. But it does work in public spaces as well. You know, if, let's say, I'm on Twitch and I say something that's too far outside Overton's window, that might actually be against TOS, you know? Like, things could be covered in that regard. So, when operating on Twitch, you usually want to stay somewhere in the range. We tend to be able to drift a little bit further outside of the window than, let's say, a political figure or something along those lines, which that is totally fine. And Overton's window has moved around through history, which has obviously confused lots of people throughout time, because at one point, let's say, you would have the radical or unthinkable idea that people should not be slaves, but the window has shifted, so now that radical unthinkable would be that people are slaves, right? Or that women have the right to vote, or things like that. So Overton's window shifts around, and Overton himself said, and here's a quote, it explains how some ideas come in and out of fashion, the same way that gravity explains why something falls to Earth. I can use gravity to drop an anvil on your head, but that would be wrong. I could also use gravity to throw you a life preserver, and that would be good. So it's not exactly a tool try to push discourse in one direction or another. It's just a tool to help you understand discourse and how you should work with people in a more public space. You don't know who's looking at you, right? So, like on Twitch, if we were a small, tight-knit, whitelisted group or something like that, right? Like, this is my group of friends. You can obviously swing out the sides of Overton's window a lot further because, well, you know them, right? So if I say a really radical idea, if you know me, then you're going to have a lot more understanding of where that radical idea is coming from, whether it's a good or bad idea, you know, and then we can have a discourse about it. But, like, on Twitch, if, let's say I got 50 people lurking and then one person spouting radical ideas in the chat, then suddenly my chat is radical ideas and we're outside the Overton's window by a far margin, and I have to be concerned about moderation at that point. So just, in general, people, my mods, myself, and everybody in the chat should be aware of this window of discourse. And like I said, we tend to flirt around the tops and bottom of it, you know, and that's fine. Just as long as we don't go shooting way out there, because we don't know, again, who's watching, who's paying attention. Just be mindful when you're in a public space. Right? Right. And that brings me to the next thing. We've got some memes that were posted on the channel. First one here was, every time you twist a nut, think of Hitler. I feel like this one is acceptable within the window because, well, people don't like Hitler, right? Seems fair. And testicular torsion is incredibly painful. So if you were to encounter testicular torsion and you think of Hitler, then there would be a negative connotation attached to that. Thus, and therefore, this is fine, right? I feel like this falls well within the window, and we're good. Right. Then there was another one posted that's the same image, only adjusted slightly, which is, every time you nut, think of Hitler. Which, this, I feel like, falls more outside of the window and is a little bit more dangerous because it could be seen as anti-Semitic, because you could be saying, or it is saying, every time I have an enjoyable sexual experience, I conjure a picture of Hitler in my head. You can see how that could be problematic, right? And another one that was brought up was the pasting over of a face, or Bebop Cola's face, over Stalin, and how potentially, like, putting the face of somebody we like over the face of somebody who is a crazy person that caused lots of pain and suffering could potentially give you positive thoughts towards Stalin, because we're superimposing positive feelings onto the body of somebody that was evil man. I'm not going to mince words with that. He is an evil man, did horrible things, right up there with Hitler. And on the Discord, obviously, one was just accepted fully, and the other one was questioned, right? I honestly feel that the Stalin one falls a little bit further within Overton window, because we're literally defacing a poster of Stalin with Ivo Kola's face, but people could view it differently. So, you know, it's something to be concerned about. It would be near the edge of the window in any case. But I feel like when I have positive sexual feelings, I think about Hitler falls even further outside of the window than that. At least that would be my interpretation of it in a public space anyways. So, things to think about when you're looking at memes, when you're posting memes. Obviously, it was said, and is correct, that comedy is complicated. Right? Comedy's a complicated thing. Not everybody's going to enjoy the same form of comedy. I laugh at Monty Python. Some people stare at Monty Python like it's the most boring thing ever, and why are you making me watch this? Moving on from that, we then also have an exchange that has to do with the every time I nut thing. And person one says, just because you can make a joke doesn't mean you should. And my dad virtually all jokes before I was 18. The response being, he made the best joke, you. And then in turn play this game, see what happens, and then chill my man is joke. And then again, not very funny joke, read the room my guy, and then I post the rules. The rules post was in response to chill my man is joke. I want to address this whole like is joke nonsense. It's a prank culture, and I disagree with that wholeheartedly. You can't personally attack somebody and then just say it's a joke. That's not acceptable. I will not have that in my Discord or in my Twitch chat. You cannot personally attack someone, and then when they tell you it's not okay, you say it's a joke. That will not happen. Oh man, I'm going to make that abundantly clear. Okay? Let's say you know the person, so here's some more examples, right? When I started adding on more mods, I added on, obviously, Particles and GJ. One of the other members of the channel that we have known for a long time and is a friendly person to the channel, and we all like them very much. We were hitting them with a couple of timeouts here and there, you know, as a joke, right? It's like, oh, you get timed out. It's funny, right? But the person didn't like it. So they said, please stop that. And immediately we went, oh, we are sorry. We meant it as a joke. Clearly, it is not a joke to you. It is annoying. We will stop. Right? We didn't say, oh, it's just a joke. Why can't you take a joke and then continue doing it? Right? Because that's stupid. Don't do that. If you're doing that in your life right now, stop it. Do not put the onus on the person who is saying that they are being personally attacked, right? If you attack somebody and then they say, I don't like that, don't put it back on them as their fault. What the heck is wrong with you? All right. Anyway. So that's just an example, right? So, and this is why I responded with the rules. Mainly being that if you make a joke, it's not a free pass to be an idiot. You have to be at least clever. Right? You can't just be like, you should have been born. And then somebody says, that's rude. And you go, okay, no, it's your fault. You can't take a joke, man. I just basically said that you should be dead, and you can't take it as a joke. Okay. And the person goes, okay, I get it. And then there's another response. This is a first, which I then in turn respond easy on as long as the other person gets it. Respect is a two-way street, right? Because this is another heckly personal attack back at the person that made the personal attack in the first place. Just because it's happening doesn't mean it's okay for you to go back and hit him with zingers, right? So be aware of that as well. Back it down. Back it down. Right. We're all trying to operate as a collective here. It's complicated. We have lots of different personalities, lots of different ideas, and everything like that. As a matter of fact, we are from all over the world. So this makes things complicated. We have language barriers, as well as just like cultural barriers and all kinds of stuff. The internet is insanely complicated. So, again, think of Overtons Window, and think about whether you're personally attacking someone or not. also things like death threats and things along those lines, whether they're jokes or not, those are also not acceptable. We can't be doing that. It's just, we just can't, right? Another example of things that I have let go in chat is there's one chat member that will occasionally say, fuck you, chat, just blanket, fuck you, chat, as a joke. And I have been letting that go, and I think I will continue to let that go unless somebody brings it up as they're having a problem with it. I mean, it's not directed at any singular person. It's directed at chat as a whole, so you're basically just kind of like, to freaking 50 people, 60 people, whatever. And if they want to say fuck you back, I mean, it's up to them. They can do that. If somebody feels personally attacked by a general statement towards 60-some people, then obviously they can bring it up to that person, and we'll address it then. But for right now, I mean, things like that, right? It's really kind of, it's a very general statement. It may come off as kind of aggressive, but like it's not directed towards any like one person, right? It's not like fuck you particles, which people have said things sort of like that. Like we blame particles for things. It's particles' fault, right? But if he ever says stop that, that's it, guys, right? We're done blaming particles for things. If he's fine with it, whatever, it can be a joke, right? But don't be afraid to bring things up if it makes you uncomfortable. If being in my Twitch chat, there's stuff going on that's making you feel super uncomfortable because it's being directed towards you, bring it up to me, bring it up to the person. We'll get it sorted at the lowest level, right? Because, again, comedy is complicated. What could be funny for one person, not be funny for another person, right? Right. That's going to be it for now. If you guys have any questions about this, feel free to ask me. Feel free to reach out to me. And I will try to explain where I'm coming from. You can explain your angle as well. And like I said, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to say, man, I'm not okay with that. If somebody is saying your name and then a joke, it's totally acceptable for you to be like, joke ain't funny, man. Fair. Right? Right. We tend to have pretty thick skin around here, but there are things that still bug us. We all have little things, right? So we just have to be respectful of each other and don't feel like if somebody says that joke's not funny, I would appreciate it if you didn't do that, that they are trying to attack you. They just are trying to protect themselves, right? So, respect. If we respect each other, then we can get a long ways. But, okay, guys, that's going to be it for right now. So, thank you for listening, and I will see you on stream.